Welcome to Live Your Best Midlife. I'm your host, Jill Lewis. Join me for inspiring pep talks and expert interviews as we explore staying active, feeling great, and embracing midlife adventures. Whether you're an empty nester, a pickleball enthusiast, or just ready to rediscover your vibrant self, this podcast is for you. Let's make our mid-years our best years. Now, on to the show. Hey friend, welcome back to Live Your Best Midlife. I'm Jill, and today we are tackling a topic that every midlife woman eventually wonders about: hormone replacement therapy, or HRT or BHRT. It's one of the most confusing and controversial topics out there for midlife gals. Depending on who you ask, it's either like the secret sauce to feeling 20 again, or it is something that you should be deathly afraid of. But before we jump in, let me start with an analogy that always helps my clients when I'm talking to them understand how hormones truly fit into the bigger picture. So I want you to imagine your body as a car, okay? Think about your hormones. Your hormones are the spark plugs that help the engine to run smoothly. But if the car is out of gas, if the tires are flat, if the oil hasn't been changed in a year, swapping out the spark plugs probably won't fix very much, okay? That's how HRT works. It can truly be life-changing, but only when you're fueling your body with protein and you're building muscle and you're managing stress and you're actually sleeping and you're staying hydrated, right? So those lifestyle habits are the gas and the oil that make everything else run. So today we're going to talk about both: how to get the right foundation and how hormones can help once that foundation is in place. So if you are just chilling, grab your coffee, or you could take me on a walk with you, or maybe you're driving in a car. But let's get started with HRT 101, what every woman over 50 should know. For decades, women were told to just deal with it. Hot flashes, insomnia, mood swings, apparently were all just a part of getting older. And for me, I think, okay, this is a bunch of BS, because meanwhile, men are just openly taking testosterone for low T. They're taking Viagra for ED, and they're talking about it on the commercials. The men are feeling great. And meanwhile, women are just like hanging on by a thread, right? And no one's talking about it. There's no commercials on TV about it. Am I right? But it is time to change that. So here's the thing. Hormones don't just affect fertility or sex drive, okay? Hormones really do influence your mood, your sleep, your metabolism. They even influence how your brain processes information. And here's what I see constantly in my coaching world. Women hit perimenopause already. So by the time, say, a woman is 40, she's already undermuscled, she's overstressed and undernourished. And then the estrogen and the progesterone start going wonky. They start dipping and they're swinging wildly, and the body simply cannot handle it like it used to. And those coping tools that once worked, coffee, cardio, wine, suddenly those are working against you. And that's when the questions start. And women are like, okay, would HRT help me feel like myself again? But isn't it really dangerous? Is it going to cause breast cancer? So I really want to talk to you frankly about this today. It's something I feel pretty passionately about. Of course, I am not a doctor. I am just a certified fitness and nutrition coach, and you need to speak with a licensed medical practitioner, of course, about all of this. But I think the more information that you have going into those appointments, the better you're going to be. So I want to empower you with knowledge so that you can feel more confident at your next appointment. Cool? All right. So let's do a little hormone crash course. I know I've done these a little bit in the past, but let's just for a review for those longtime listeners. And if you're a new listener, welcome, and let's do a crash course. Okay. The big three, right? Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Again, more than just, they're called your sex hormones, but it's a lot more than just sex that we're talking about. Okay. Think of estrogen, it's like your multitasker. It supports bones, it supports your mood, it supports your skin and your heart health. And when estrogen drops, that's when you're going to feel the hot flashes, the dryness, the foggy thinking. You just look and feel older. That's the best way that I know how to describe it. So one day you wake up and you're like, what is happening with my face? Yeah, I bet your estrogen is like going down. Okay. Progesterone, this is your calming hormone. It balances estrogen and it helps you sleep. And when your estrogen falls, that's when you feel anxious, restless, just overall grumpy. I have to say that progesterone for me, I wish I had started taking it much earlier. I'm For reference, I'm 51. I feel like I hit perimenopause hard by the time I was 42. And I feel like throughout my 40s that my mood swings, it was like up and down. It was like PMS on steroids. And I feel like if I had I started progesterone now, I guess it's been almost 2 years. For me, game changer. Okay. But I wish I had started earlier because I am so much more chill. I sleep like the dead. Even if I have to wake up and go to the bathroom, oh my gosh, I'm right back to sleep. And that never used to happen. Okay. So that's progesterone. I've only taken that one. And I have a topical estrogen for my face. That is right. And that is something that's been compounded, but it's not something it's not like a systemic estrogen. And it's a very low dose estrogen, but it's good for the skin and it's compounded. And I get that from my doctor down in Florida. That's all I can really say on those, but I am all in on both of those. And I'm clearly very pro HRT, BHRT, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Obviously, this is the lens that we're looking at hormones today. But testosterone is the third one. I personally haven't taken any testosterone. I get my hormones checked about once a year. So far, everything's looking good there. But testosterone is your drive. So for energy, strength, libido, low testosterone can make you feel very flat and just blah, unmotivated, want, want kind of feeling. So if you feel like a low drive in everything, not just about sex, but about just getting your day going and you feeling motivated, that those kinds of things could be your testosterone. During perimenopause, so again, that's like the 10 years before you actually hit menopause. Menopause doesn't mean that's some like la da day. It just means you've gone 12 months without a menstrual cycle. That's it. It's 12 months without a menstrual cycle. You are now menopausal. You're postmenopausal, I should say. Perimenopause, that 10 years, which by the way, I never knew that was a thing, that it was like 10 years, could even be a little bit longer, could be shorter. But for me, yep, we're at the 10-year mark. During this time, your hormones are swinging like a pendulum. Okay. They don't just overall, your hormones are trending down, but it's not just like this straight line. It isn't linear. It is waves. And after menopause, then they settle low and they stay there. Now, can you survive that? Of course you can. But does that mean you're going to thrive there? No, most women don't. So that's where hormone therapy can step in. Here's something we're thinking about. For most of human history, okay, women did not live decades past menopause. If you go back even just a few generations, life expectancy hovered around the mid 50s. Our grandmothers, great grandmothers, great grandmothers, they only spent a few years in menopause, right? If they lived through it at all. Today, we can expect to live like 30, 40, and 50 years after our final period. That means we're living half of our lives in a hormonal state that our bodies were never originally designed to handle long term. Okay? It's crazy when you think about it that way. So when we talk about hormone replacement, it's not about trying to stay 30 forever. It's just about supporting our health for the extra decades that modern women actually get to live. Strong and active and very present. Doesn't that sound good? It's like we want to live longer, but I also want to live well, you know? Okay. let's dive into what HRT actually is and what it is not. All right. So, HRT means replacing or supplementing the hormones that your body no longer produces. And it comes in a few forms. Estrogen comes in patches, gels, pills, or creams. Progesterone, that comes in capsules. I take it in a capsule every night before bed. Couldn't live without it. Capsules or creams. And sometimes or often it's combined with estrogen. Testosterone, you could do low dose gels or you could do pellets for women who need energy and muscle support. Again, I haven't taken it. I have worked with many women that have done the pellets and have been very unhappy with those. So it's something that you need to really discuss with your medical provider because a pellet, from my understanding, it's like a huge dose and in the beginning, and then it weans off, and then you get another huge dose, and it doesn't necessarily that form doesn't really mimic how your testosterone is in your body daily. I've heard that the gels work better, but again, you work with your provider on that, okay? Now, bioidentical hormones are chemically identical to your own, okay? Some are FDA approved, but others are compounded by the pharmacies, all right? There are synthetic versions of hormones and they can differ slightly. They can still be effective. Again, this is stuff you have to discuss with your medical provider. The right choice really depends on your symptoms, your history, your blood work, like your comfort level. There's no one size fits all formula out there, that's for sure. Now, why you're hearing all these things about what hormone replacement can do for you? Why would anyone be like just going, not saying, okay, I'm doing this? Or why are you not hearing more about it? Like, why are there not more commercials about these amazing products? First of all, let's talk about the 2002 Women's Health Initiative study, because that is where so much fear started. This was the study that scared a generation. I feel bad for all of my older boomer, baby boomer listeners out there because y'all got screwed. I'm just going to say it like you did. So back in 2002, the headlines said hormone therapy causes cancer and heart attacks. Doctors panicked, the public panicked, millions of women like tossed their prescriptions. And here's what was really happening. Okay. It was a flawed study. We know this now, but back then we didn't. All we heard about was the headline. But the deal is, the average participant of this study was 63 years old, a decade past menopause, long after estrogen's protective effects are fading. Okay, so estrogen is hugely protective when taken earlier as you start, like in your menopause years. Okay, they were given conjugated equine estrogen from horse urine. Okay, combined with a synthetic progestin, not the modern bioidentical forms that we use now. Okay. Many in the study had risk factors like obesity, hypertension before the study even started. And the quote, increased risk of breast cancer turned out to be less than one additional case per 1,000 women per year. It's no secret that my very favorite protein powder in the marketplace is Prime Protein. Why do I like it so much? Well, one, it tastes amazing. I am loving the chocolate and the iced coffee flavors. Those two are my favorites. But grass-fed protein is the new way. So why grass-fed beef over whey or any other plant-based protein powder? Well, beef protein is packed with the collagen, gelatin, and micronutrients that your body needs. They work to repair your joints and soft tissues like plant protein won't. And studies have shown that beef protein provides additional benefits to strength, hypertrophy, and fat loss over whey. Simply put, more beef protein equals faster workout recovery, all-day energy, feeling full for hours, and better skin, bone, and hair health. You can go to today's show notes for the link to order your Prime Protein and use the code JILL for 15% off your first order. Follow-up research showed that women who started estrogen therapy earlier, within 10 years of menopause, had lower rates of heart disease, bone fractures, and possibly dementia. Like, what? So we just think about hormone replacement therapy because we think these are our sex hormones and we just think it's all related to that. But it's not. Like, it does so much more. So this Women's Health Initiative study wasn't just overstated. It was deeply flawed and misinterpreted. But I have to say, like, that damage was done. Medical schools stopped teaching menopause care. Most of the physicians never revisited the updated data. So then you've got over 20 years later, the research is clear. Modern HRT, BHRT, is safe for healthy women when prescribed correctly and started at the right time. Okay. Oh, it just is so aggravating. The hard part is that our women's bodies are so much more complicated than men's. The studies, it's all takes more money. It always comes back to money. Anytime there's like a problem, it's always you can trace it back to money. Okay. So it's very expensive to do these studies. Women's bodies are complex. And so these studies cost a lot of money. And the medications, the HRT, there's just not a lot of money for them to make in this. Do you know what I mean? So that's the problem, really. But I still have hope. I really do. Okay. The new science and why it matters. So the North American Menopause Society, the Cleveland Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic all agree on these things. Estrogen is the most effective treatment for hot flashes and sleep issues. They also agree that starting HRT in your 40s and 50s reduces the risk for heart disease and bone loss. That's incredible news. They also agree that progesterone improves sleep and calms anxiety. Imagine you go into a doctor's office and, like you say, I'm feeling super anxious, I'm having trouble sleeping, all these things, and my mood, and and instead of them just automatically wanting to put you on some brain altering medication to calm you down, instead they're like, have you had your hormones checked? I mean, wouldn't that be incredible if they started with that instead of you know, something else? Ugh. Also, they all agree on testosterone supporting lean muscle, energy, and libido when using it responsibly. This is not fringe medicine anymore. Okay. This is evidence based, this is mainstream care. When women finally start treatment, the most common thing that we hear is, oh my gosh, I feel so much more like myself again. And that is not vanity at all. That is just chemistry coming back into balance. So let's like make this real for you. What can hormone replacement therapy actually do for you? Let's talk about your energy and your mood. When hormones are balanced, you stop feeling like you're running on fumes. Progesterone's natural calming effect can be a game changer for your sleep. Your body composition, estrogen and testosterone protect lean muscle and make strength training more effective. Your skin and your hair, collagen production improves and your skin's going to look healthier. And then, of course, your sexual health. Local estrogen and small amounts of testosterone reduce dryness and bring desire back. HRT can make your efforts in the gym and kitchen pay off again. But remember, the car analogy. If you aren't fueling with protein, you're not lifting weights, you're not managing stress, even perfect hormones are not going to be able to drive the car. Okay. So all of this works together. All right. We still have to live a healthy lifestyle. Now, if you think that HRT might help, you got to find a practitioner who truly understands midlife women's health. Look for someone certified by the North American Menopause Society or with a focus on integrative medication or integrative medicine. Bring specific questions like this. What options fit my symptoms and health history? How will you monitor my labs and progress? What risks apply to me personally? If your current doctor brushes you off with, you're just getting older, I'm sorry, but it is time to find another doctor. Okay. We as women, I'm Gen X, I feel like we're doing a little bit better about going, wait a minute. I think we should do something about this. And I am fully anticipating a huge wave of my millennial gals that are going to take the baton and like they are going to get us to the finish line. I think they're all going to go, this is insane. They aren't, when they get into perimenopause, especially, they're going to be like, this is insane. We're not going to live like this. And they're going to demand better. But listen, we got to start now, ladies. If you're somebody, though, that say you live in a rural area, or you just can't find anyone local to support you, there are telehealth platforms. MIDI is the one I hear about the most, MIDI Health. I've also heard of ones called Alloy, Alloy, and Evernow that provide access to licensed clinicians who specialize in menopause care. They can order labs, they can prescribe bioidentical hormones, they can ship medications directly to you. I just go to like their websites, check your insurance, blah, blah, blah. But that might be something to do. Do a telehealth appointment. That might be like the perfect thing for you. Even if you lived in a city, that might be the better thing for you. You don't always have to have a hands-on appointment, like belly to belly, face-to-face appointment with someone. Telehealth is an amazing thing too. Now, HRT is amazing, but it may not be for everyone. And let's talk about that. It's life-changing, but it's not for everyone. There are situations where it's not medically recommended, and it is important to know that going in. So, for example, women with a personal history of breast, ovarian, or uterine cancer, or those with active liver disease, unexplained vaginal bleeding, or a history of blood clots or stroke, usually need to avoid systemic HRT. And the same goes for anyone whose doctor identifies just a specific contraindication. Okay. Doesn't mean that you're completely out of options. There are localized therapies like low dose vaginal estrogen that treat dryness and discomfort safely without significant absorption into the bloodstream. So that's what I mean by systemically, instead of something that's going to integrate into the entire body. For women who can't use any hormones at all, there are non-hormonal prescription medications and lifestyle interventions that can make a real difference. And if you're in that category, man, please don't give up hope. You can still support your body's own hormone balance through, and I know, don't roll your eyes at me, but strength training to preserve your muscle and your metabolism, protein-rich meals, fiber to stabilize blood sugar, stress management to calm cortisol and improve sleep, and of course, quality rest and recovery so your body can repair and reset. I'm telling my clients all the time, like HRT is like adding premium fuel to your tank, but lifestyle is the engine. Okay. If you keep that engine strong, you're going to still run beautifully with or without hormones. Also, I really want you to keep learning. We're just like tip of the iceberg here. Okay. If you love digging deeper, here's a few trusted resources. I'm going to give you some books by authors that I think are fantastic. So one would be, it's a little bit older book, The Menopause Manifesto by Dr. Jen Gunter. This is a very direct, myth-busting, very science-based. The Menopause Manifesto by Dr. Jen Gunter. Then another one is The Hormone Repair Manual by Dr. Lara Briden, Larabriden, The Hormone Repair Manual. It's a great breakdown of how perimenopause hormones shift. Probably my favorite person is Dr. Mary Claire Haver, and she is out of Galveston, Texas, and her book is called The New Menopause. The New Menopause by Dr. Mary Claire Haver. It's so good. It's a blend of research, lifestyle, ton of practical advice. She's great. And then another fantastic gal, Dr. Kelly Casperson, and she has a book called You Are Not Broken. Now, she is a urologist. I love that she has worked with men and women But yeah, the book's called You Are Not Broken by Dr. Kelly Casperson. It is a must read if you want to understand how hormones, brain chemistry, and sexual health all connect. Truly, the more that you learn, the more confident you become in your choices. And you're not going to feel so intimidated when you go to the doctor. And if it's your gynecologist, your integrative medicine practitioner, you're going to be able to have a conversation, know the questions to ask, and know like knowledge is power, right? So let's wrap up with what every woman over 50 should know. Okay. First of all, hormones shape everything from brain function to bone health. If you're somebody that's like, my gosh, I just cannot come up with the words. I just feel like I'm in this funk, my brain, brain fog. Like, hello, get some lab work done. Could be your hormones. Number two, every woman over 50 should know that the 2002 study that scared everyone was wrong. Okay. So we need to get that out of our brains. Number three, when started early and personalized, HRT is safe, it's effective, and can dramatically improve quality of life. Number four, lifestyle habits, muscle, food, stress, sleep will always amplify those results. And number five, you deserve to feel vibrant, not just fine. You are not too old to feel strong, clear-headed, and to feel confident. This chapter is not about declining, okay? It's all about design. So ask the questions, do the research, advocate for yourself. And if this episode helped clear up some confusion, share it with a friend who's quietly wondering the same things. Thank you so much for listening to Live Your Best Midlife, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to Live Your Best Midlife. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that follow button. And if you want to help more people discover my podcast, I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave a rating and a review. Your feedback not only brightens my day, but it helps others to find my show. And if you're craving some more behind the scenes action, follow me on TikTok at Jill Lewis Living or on Instagram at Jill B. Lewis.